It's your boy, Sense of Self. Today, I want to discuss the mind, you know. But before I do that, as you can already tell, I have my IVG baseball hat on. And normally, anytime I put this hat on, that means I'm about to go deep. If you're wondering what IVG stands for, that is, I visualize greatness, you know. And yes, it's my own creation. And no, it's not for sale. This is for self, you know. I wanted to do this video today because if you've been listening to my videos or my previous videos, I did a video on awareness of self, or self-awareness, or what is self-awareness. And in that video, I explained how it's important to understand the 3 states of self if you want to know, or if you want to understand self-awareness, or if you want to know what self-awareness is. It's important to understand the 3 states of your being, and this is your mind, your spirit, and your body, right? And your mind is like, example, is like unconsciousness, you know, where we all go at night. We're unconscious. That's like the mind space. It's not seen, it's unseen, you know. And then you have your spirit state. Your spirit state could be like your dream state. Is somewhat in between unconsciousness and consciousness, right? Hence why you can feel everything but without the physical vessel. So this is your dream state. Or you can put it another way and say this is where the entity in its dark space, like the entity in its void, which is the spirit, right? And then you have your awareness, which is the entity awakening. It's like you waking up from sleep. Once you are awake, you are now aware. You are now in the physical. So this is the physical. So you got mind, spirit, and body. So mind is unawareness, spirit is dream state, and then the body is consciousness. Again, like I said, I want to try and break these down individually, you know. So if you listen to my previous video, and I explained how it's important to understand these 3 states. So today I'm only going to focus on just the mind, you know, the first part. So I'm going to name this part 1. So the first part is only going to be for the mind, which I think is very, very, very important. And I'm doing these videos, or I'm doing these videos because, again, I want to shine a light on, you know, certain aspects of life that most of us are not aware of. And if this resonates with you, peace and balance to you, man. It will urge you to go deeper. If it doesn't, then it is what it is. Peace and balance to you too. So what is mind? Mind is airs. Mind is the beginning of your emotion. Mind is what manifests into the physical through your emotion, or your waters, or your substance. Mind is everything physical you see, both inside you and outside of you, you know. They say 98% of seeing is done through the eye. I mean, 98% of seeing is done through the mind, not the eyes, you know. I'll give an example. Have you ever bought a new car, and immediately you got the car, you see the car everywhere, you know? Now, you were seeing these cars everywhere from time. You just wasn't aware of it. Your mind wasn't on it. I'm using these references for you to kind of have an understanding of what a mind is. But a mind is the beginning of all physical manifestations, you know? Now, the mind is awareness, you know? The mind is also the unconsciousness. The mind is also the medium, which is the substance between those 2 forces. And yet, it's still the mind. For you to be able to understand mind, you have to be able to remove your body. Do not think with your body. See, mind, you can only understand mind through geometry, which is patterns and symbols and principles and vibrations, you know. Example will be airs. Airs will raise in hertz and become light. Light will raise and become what? Substance, or you can call it clouds first, or molecules, and then molecules become substance. I don't want to go too off, even though I'm not off, but I don't want to go too away from what I'm trying to put, because I'm trying to make it a bit more simple for it to be absorbed. But when we're dealing with the mind is what creates everything that we know, you know. And if I'm to give you an example of a mind or the experience between that, I would say example could be a case of like use words, like the words I'm using now. It comes from my mind. These words I use, it separates and it goes off its way, but the mind, it still comes from the mind space. Once it separates, it raises and it becomes light and it becomes substance. Anyway, I hope this makes a little bit of sense. And like I say all the time, I don't make these videos just because. I make these videos to shine a light on a lot of aspects in life that we're not really aware of. So then he who this resonates with, you know, might go up in this way and, you know, find more or go deeper into these realms, you know. And it's deep, you know. It's so hard to explain something that's not unseen, you know. And the only way it's really possible is if one has these two forces, which I've explained in my previous videos, which is the desire to want to know and the desire to, or the open-mindedness. Desire to want to know and open-mindedness are these two forces that can only help you be self-aware. So to recap, when we're talking about the mind is like airs, right? And through airs, you manifest substance. So example, think semen, right? If you're a guy, this is gonna deep you more. But when you bust a nut, this is manifesting from the mind space. This substance we call semen comes from the mind. So when you're having sex and the man or the female is coming, either way, it's one and the same. But guys will resonate with this a bit more. So when you bust a nut, this is coming from your mind, and this becomes semen, and this semen goes out of his way, literally comes out of the body and goes into another, and eventually it gets born out. So you see how mind airs, mind space, you know, you're thinking becomes collection of thinking becomes cloud. These clouds become, you know, substance. But this is happening in the vessel. So it's a bit of a different sort of perspective. So when you're thinking, you're producing substance. So when you say, I'm about to come or I'm about to bust a nut, this pushes out substance and this goes out his way. So it's like air manifesting into substance. You go through the light, then substance. Then you get the physical vessel. So to truly understand self, you must know, for starters, you are not this body. But you truly are, but you're truly the mind in this vessel. Because remember, that mind, that still pattern still is in that substance called you call semen. And that semen still goes out its way into another vessel called the womb. That's still in also a vessel. And that grows out as physical being or as a baby. Anyway, I don't want to go on for too long, so I'm going to stop here. And just to recap, you got your mind, You got your spirit and you got your body. But really, I just want to concentrate on the mind, which is where all things start, the unseen to the seen. If there's any scientists here, you probably say alchemy to chemistry. Anyway, he who this resonates with, peace, peace, and balance. And before I go though, this is just the part 1, which is the mind. My next video, I'm gonna discuss the emotion, and then we go into the third video, which will be part 3. We go into the physical vessel. Peace and balance.